So CP29 is a consultation paper released by the PRA on the 29th of July 2016. It fundamentally changes the way that retail mortgage lenders calculate their capital requirements under an IRB approach. The two main areas that it looks to address are both probability of default and loss given default, although the paper mainly concentrates on the probability of default. Previously in the past, there's been a range of approaches to this within the industry, ranging from what's been classed as a point-in-time methodology, where your probability of default moves in line with the economic cycle, and through the cycle, where your probability of default remains quite static throughout the period. What this means in terms of capital requirements are that your point-in-time model means that you have higher capital requirements in a downturn and lower capital requirements in good times. Through the cycle methodology means that you should have constant capital requirements over an economic cycle. Both approaches have been criticised in the past. Point-in-time methodologies mean that you don't hold capital reserves and build those up in the good times, which is one of the key principles of Basel. Through the cycle methodologies, it's not considered that they allow you to fully capture the changes in the inherent risk within your portfolio as you change your risk appetite and your lending practices. The approach specified within CP29 essentially sits somewhere in the middle of this approach and is called a hybrid approach. What it looks to do is to allow you to consider the migration through a point-in-time type methodology, but actually then consider the long-run default rates of certain grades within those point-in-time risk bands. To create these point-in-time migrations, we believe that organisations should be able to deal with that quite easily themselves, as they have scorecards already in-house that will do that for them. Therefore, the challenge arises as a result of the through-the-cycle element, where you have to consider what the long-run default rate would be over an economic cycle. And this is considering that the PRA are very clear that an economic cycle goes all the way back to 1990. Most organisations that we deal with, and most organisations within the industry, don't have data going back that far. Therefore, the challenge comes in terms of being able to supplement short-term internal data with long-term external data. The key source for this external data is generally the Council of Mortgage Lenders, that has arrears time series that go back to the early 90s. However, this is not automatically aligned to a definition of default. Also, as it's industry level data, there are challenges that this may not actually be appropriate for every organisation, and in particular niche segments within those organisations. Here at Foremost, we're working with a number of lenders to help try and address these problems through robust and consistent modelling techniques. We've also done some work with one particular lender who is an established IRB organisation who've actually fully developed an approach with on real data and submitted this to the PRA. The responses that we've had back so far from the PRA are positive in terms of it shows that our understanding of the approach and the challenges of what it's trying to address are correct, but it's also been insightful because what they've come back with is some very key analytics that they expect to be undertaken by organisations to be able to prove that the approach works on all segments of the portfolio. And now we're working with the organisation to address these additional concerns. I think one of the concerns that we have about the industry as a whole at the moment is obviously there's a number of changes going on, in particular IFRS 9, which means that organisations generally have quite a lot of analytical strain on their capacity at the moment, and there is a danger that this particular change gets delayed or even possibly sidelined. However, given the impact that it's likely to have on both the financial impact and the running of your rating system, we believe that starting this as soon as possible to allow a robust development, a smooth transition and clear insight into the financial impact is absolutely critical that we start as soon as possible.